Hey everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Upcycled Adulting, where I help you grow to accomplish your goals, create healthy habits, and overcome obstacles. And today I'm going to be talking about the holiday season without kids. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that you are completely alone, that you don't have a partner, that you don't have a family, that you don't have other things going on and other traditions. This just means you don't have children. And so, how do you make the holidays extra special when you don't have little ones at home? And how do you navigate some of those difficult holiday situations when you don't have kids? Because this, by the way, is a pretty unique circumstance that I think a lot of people really don't think about. One of my kids actually asked me to create this video. I have 5 kids. Two of them have children of their own, the other three do not, and all of my kids are grown-ups. And obviously, this looks a little different for my youngest, who's 20 and still a college student, and my oldest, who's 30, and my kid in between, who is now living in their own house, doesn't have a roommate, doesn't have a life partner, doesn't have kids, right? So a lot of the holiday celebrations revolve around what's happening in my house, which is obviously their family of origin. But navigating how to make the holidays special and how to really be seen through the holidays when you are a young adult or an older adult who just happens to not have children is really an important conversation. I think that especially around Christmas, we tend to think of Christmas as a kids' holiday, but that doesn't mean that as an adult without kids, you can't enjoy this holiday season and have just as much joy. So let's talk about exactly how to do that. The first thing I want to start with talking about is community and friends. Now, I really think that it's important to assess, what does your community look like? What kind of friendships do you have? What kind of relationships do you have with your siblings or your family of origin or your extended family? Because including those people in your holiday celebrations can be really, really beneficial. There isn't a reason, just because you don't have kids, to be lonely through the holidays. You can celebrate with other people who do have kids. However, I actually think it's a great idea to have things like Friendsgiving, or to have a white elephant party with your friends, and to actually enjoy some grown up time with other people who don't have kids. It is absolutely 100% fine, appropriate, more than appropriate, and even appreciated by your friends who may have children to have an adults only party or gathering during the holiday season. Now, a lot of times when we're talking about people who have kids, they're pretty busy leading up to Christmas, but that time between Christmas and New Year's is such a sweet spot. And a lot of times people are like, man, I just need a little bit of friend time, right? So, whatever you want to do here, whether it's a holiday related event or it's just hanging out and going to the movies with some of your closest friends or going to brunch, it is a phenomenal idea. Okay. So, do not forego creating connection with other people in the holidays. It actually is a great time to rekindle relationships, to really be mindful and aware of our relationships with other people, and to nurture those during this time of year. The next thing I want to talk about is also related to people. And by the way, I'll have 8 points here, and this is number two. And that is, I want to just remind you to be selective of what you engage in and what you don't. Okay, just be selective. If you don't want to, or it stresses you out, or it's uncomfortable, painful, difficult to engage in events, say no. It's okay to say no. It's okay to tell people in your family to mind their own dang business when you show up at holiday events and they ask why you and your partner haven't had a child yet. It is nobody's business. It is a completely and totally reasonable, valid, and by the way, even wise life choice to not have children. Okay. And for whatever reason, around the holidays, people like to get really nosy up in your business about why you're not getting married yet, why you haven't had kids yet, why you're not in a long term relationship yet. It is no one's business. Okay. As the mother of 5 children, I deeply appreciate people who have chosen not to have kids. And I know that in most cases, they are aware of what it is to be a parent, sometimes more aware than people who actually are parents, and have decided that that's not for them. for whatever reason, the state of the world, their lives, not wanting to, knowing that what it demands is just outrageous. I don't even care what the reason is. You don't need to tell me the reason, and you don't need to tell anybody else either. Okay. It is no one's business. So be selective about where you show up and be selective about what kinds of questions you answer. It is a completely reasonable thing to actually say to someone else, I'm not discussing this. I'm not having this conversation. This is not any of your business. That's really private, personal, etc. This isn't up for discussion. Period. Hard stop. It is an unreasonable thing to do. And if you're in a partnered relationship, please help navigate that with your family and your partner. It can be really tough to communicate that to your partner's family, and it can feel really harsh and abrasive. So, really creating a buffer there would be incredibly beneficial. In addition to that, I also want to point out to you that just because you don't have kids doesn't mean you don't deserve consideration. I think a lot of times what happens around the holidays is things tend to get planned or tend to be designed to be specifically related to catering to people with children. And this gets incredibly complicated. Just because you don't have kids doesn't mean you should automatically have to work on Christmas Eve. Just because you don't have kids doesn't mean that you should be the last one considered when planning a family event. Planning events for family and for friends, and by the way, this goes out to you who have kids to be mindful of as well. Planning these events should take into consideration the demands of everybody's lives, okay? Not just the kids, all right? In our family, we have a blended family, and obviously that creates a lot of complication, which I'm going to talk about in a future video. But that creates a lot of complication about when visitation switches, when we have our kids, when we don't have our kids, etc. And so that's fine. Sometimes that is not considered. Oftentimes that's not considered. And that's okay. As long as you know that if our kids have drop off, we're going to be late. I don't care. Okay. If somebody in the family doesn't have children and they are working and we need to move the family event to accommodate them being there because of their work, I completely understand that. And everyone else should too. Okay. Everyone else should too. Because the reality is, while I just said that just because you don't have kids doesn't mean you should work every Christmas Eve, we all know that that's actually what happens in a lot of cases. And so accommodating that whenever possible is really, really helpful, right? Just making space for understanding that people without children still have other demands in their lives. Just because they don't have kids doesn't mean there's nothing going on. It is a perfectly reasonable thing to say if you are a childless person, hey, it would really be helpful because I have a scheduling conflict, right? I have to work that day. I'm not going to be able to come until blank time. Would you mind keeping dinner warm for me? Would you mind waiting to open gifts until I get there? Whatever that happens to be, it is a reasonable thing to actually ask that your needs are also taken into consideration. And obviously, people hosting events are juggling a variety of different needs. So they may be juggling something that's in conflict with this. They may need to navigate around that. And that makes sense. That's okay. But we shouldn't be acting like people who don't have children don't have any conflicts, preferences, or needs of their own, because that's absolutely not true. So be selective and be communicative about what it is that you need as well. It's okay to have needs. It's okay. All right. Number 3 is decorate. Okay. I'm not saying that you have to get a big old Christmas tree and you have to go through all of this stuff. I am saying, though, that having something small that you get out around the holidays in your own home can help it feel more like the holidays. That even if you don't have children, even if you live completely alone, that you actually deserve to enjoy the holidays and you deserve to treat yourself. And I'm going to be talking about that a lot in this video. So if you don't care about the holidays, that's fine. And by the way, at this point, anything I have to say might not even be of value to you. It's okay. I'm going to give you all the permission in the world to just stop the video right here because everything I'm about to talk about is how to make the holidays special for you. And if you just want to like veg out and watch Die Hard, you do you. But a lot of times, people, when they don't have children, they feel like they shouldn't do a lot of the holiday stuff or it's not worth doing, especially if they're alone, because it feels like a lot of effort just for you. Okay. And I just want to tell you that you are worth that effort. So get a couple holiday decorations, put them up in your house, make the effort to bring the holidays home for you. Okay. Don't just settle for my parents' house is decorated and I'm going to be there on Christmas anyway, so it doesn't matter. All right. Having a few holiday decorations really helps you get in the spirit of Christmas and recognize the spirit of Christmas. And you don't have to have a ton of money to do this either. You can make things, you can get things that from other family members. This is a big thing in a lot of families where people get rid of Christmas decorations and they have no idea that somebody in their family would want them. And they very rarely think of the childless person, okay, or the single person as the person who wants those decorations. So reach out to other people and say, hey, I'm looking for some holiday decorations. If you have anything you're getting rid of, let me know. Right. And take those secondhand decorations and make your home feel a little bit more festive during the holiday season. Number 4 is to engage in holiday traditions. Okay. Um, a lot of times we don't do this because we don't have kids, and I get this one a little bit because now that my kids are adults and they have kids of their own, they're not necessarily as engaged in my family traditions. Every single year, I've done this event called Cookie Weekend where all the kids come over and they all bake cookies. And this year, it's not going to happen. It's just a conflict of schedules, and it just can't. It's not a thing. My kids are adults. The other kids who used to come have other events and commitments. My grandkids aren't available to come, et cetera, et cetera. So we do not have Cookie Weekend happening this year, but this is my favorite holiday tradition. Okay. So does that mean I'm not baking cookies? No. Of course, it doesn't mean I'm not making cookies. I will be making cookies to give to my neighbors, to take to family events, especially because I'm dairy and gluten free. I will be making some cookies that I can take to various family events. I have a kid who's vegan and gluten free, so I know they'll appreciate it. And so we have dessert at those events, but not usually for us because of our food stuff. So, yes, I'm still going to make cookies. I just asked my husband what ones he wants me to make. My youngest is home from college. I asked what he'd like, and I'm going to make a few batches of cookies. Not like I usually do, but I'm going to put on some Christmas music and I'm still going to make those cookies. It is actually a really cool thing to do Christmas traditions and to give them to neighbors, to give them to friends, to give them to various different places that actually take donations at this time. And it can be a definite part of community service and reaching out to other people. If you happen to have a senior citizen community in your neighborhood, they love these kinds of gestures. A lot of times, elderly people are forgotten at the holidays, they're completely alone. And so, taking fresh baked cookies and things like that can be really, really nice, really, really touching, and really, really helpful. Um, so, absolutely bake those cookies, make those Christmas crafts, maybe make some Christmas decorations for your house. Do the thing that you love and enjoy that is a tradition. Go look at the lights. Maybe get a couple friends to come with you, get some hot cocoa, and go drive around at night and look at all the lights. Whatever it is that brings you joy. Maybe this is a tradition from your childhood. Maybe this is one you're creating all on your own. Find a holiday tradition you enjoy and enjoy it. It's okay to try 5 different holiday traditions and see what you think of them. You may find that you don't like any of them. You might try something new next year. Don't worry about it, but try to find a holiday tradition that you enjoy. Um, Number 5 is actually one of my favorite holiday things to do, and I don't know, maybe I'm the only one, but I love a good Christmas movie marathon. I'm all about the Hallmark movies, I'm all about the Netflix holiday movies. I'm all about all of the holiday movies. Yes, they're cheesy. Yes, they're corny. But the truth of the matter is that they're no-brainers. They have all this holiday joy. Everybody's getting on the bandwagon with this. I know that they're formulaic. I know that some of us might find them to be tiring, but a good holiday movie marathon can really help get you in the Christmas spirit. That said, okay, do not think your holidays are going to go that way. Okay. A lot of us watch those Hallmark Christmas movies, and then we have these really high expectations for how perfect Christmas is going to be. It's only like that when there's a script, y'all. Okay. So make sure that you keep your expectations in check, but enjoy the holiday movies. Enjoy them. Um, all right. Number 6 is make yourself a special meal. Um, so I actually am not the biggest fan of Christmas dinner, Christmas Eve dinner. I'm just not. I'm not the biggest fan of it. We have a lot of family events around that time, and I think that cooking for a big event is really hard to do. And I actually love to make a special meal around the holidays that I love, right? And so I think that it can be a really fun thing to incorporate in the holiday season that you pick a day and you make something that you really enjoy. Okay. I don't care what it is. It could be toaster waffles and bacon, all right? Whatever it is. But I think a lot of times there's a lot of food related to holidays, a lot of family meals, a lot of things like that. And when we are on our own, a lot of times it feels, I don't know, it can feel like a chore to cook for yourself. And I think it's nice to make a special effort to make yourself something that you really love to celebrate the holiday season. So do that. If you don't like to cook, go out for a special meal. Okay. You may need a reservation because it's very busy in the restaurants. But if you don't like to cook, go out for a special meal. Go out for your favorite meal. Treat yourself to something delicious this holiday season and forego all the guilt about it. Okay. Do not get into that trap. A lot of things at the holidays are really about culture and tradition and nourishing our souls. And one of the best ways to do this is actually to eat something you love. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. All right. Number 7 is gift yourself. I cannot talk more about this subject. All right. I cannot speak enough about this. Okay. If you're in a partnership, get gifts for each other. All right. If your partner is terrible at getting gifts for you, create a wish list. All right. For them. Just create a wish list, preferably with links. All right. To websites so that they actually have an idea what you want and what to get you. Especially early in a relationship. And I will say, I know people who've been married for 20 plus years whose partners still really struggle to get them gifts that they love. It's not because your partner doesn't love you. It's not because they don't know you. It's not even because they're not trying. Okay. Gift giving is kind of an art form. Some people are really talented at it, some people are not. If you are the person who struggles with gift giving, ask your partner for a list and explain this to them. Tell them, it matters to me to get you something that you really care about. It matters to me to get you something that you will love and enjoy. I would like to pick from a list of things that I know that you will love. This is an art form. I am just not good at this. This isn't really in my wheelhouse. And I want to make sure it matters to me. Okay. This is not for lack of effort. This isn't because it doesn't matter to me. This isn't because I don't love you enough. This isn't because I don't know you. Okay. This is because gift giving is hard for me. All right. That is a reasonable thing. And ask them for that. If you are alone, okay, on the holidays, meaning if you live by yourself, okay, please get yourself a gift. Put it under the Christmas tree. All right. I think it's best if you can get it early in the year so you kind of forget what it is. Like buy it early in the year, wrap it up in Christmas paper, shove it on the top shelf of a closet, get it out on Christmas Eve. And then when you open it, you're kind of surprised because you don't completely remember what it is. But if you haven't done this yet, do it now. Go get yourself a Christmas gift. Okay. At least one. Get yourself something that you will think of as a treat that you wouldn't otherwise buy for yourself. Now, this one might be a little tough to swallow. Do this even if you have a family to celebrate with. Do this even if you have a family to celebrate with, okay? So, as an adult for many, many years, I was alone on Christmas morning. I would wake up at my house on Christmas morning, and then I would go to my mom's house for Christmas dinner, and we would always have a gift exchange there, okay? It is such a nice thing to wake up on Christmas morning and have something to open. I know that this seems small. I know that this seems silly, and I'm not asking you to spend a ton of money on this. If you're on a budget, it's okay. You don't have to spend a ton of money on this. But even going out and getting yourself something really little, even from the dollar store, listen, it just makes a difference to open something on Christmas morning. It just makes it feel a little bit more like Christmas. Okay. So get yourself a gift. It's really worth it. I promise you, it's worth it. Get yourself a gift, wrap it up. Um, and the last one, 9, is volunteer. I don't just recommend this to people who don't have kids. I recommend this to people who do have kids too. I have found that a lot of people who do not have kids but intend to have them in the future think, well, when I have a family, we'll volunteer. When I have a family, this will be a priority for my family. I wanna teach my kids that value. That's gonna matter to me, and then I'll do it. However, I actually think that giving something back at the holidays is such a beautiful opportunity, okay? If you are alone on the holidays, one of the things that I think is a really amazing thing, if you are alone and you have the budget, is to actually sponsor a family or donate to Toys for Tots, things like that. I think that the ability to give something else to other people is really helpful. I also think that one of the things we overlook when we volunteer is our love languages, right? It's a great fit to give gifts if your love language is gifts. It's a great fit to give service if your love language is service. It will be very fulfilling to you to give of your heart, right? And that's a lot of times what our love language is. So really think about what is the best fit for you. A lot of times we really get in the box about what does volunteering look like? What does serving our community look like? And so I recommend that you Google this. Okay. Google is a great resource and people really overlook it a lot of times, but Google it. What kind of volunteer opportunities exist in your community? What kind of volunteer opportunities have other people done? Ask your friends if they like to volunteer, what they like to do. Ask your family. But it's not just about um, serving at a shelter. Okay. There are a million ways that we can volunteer and serve our community really well, some of them with organizations and some of them on our own. All right. And I just think that it's so rewarding. Part of the holiday season, part of the Christmas season is not just about receiving, but also giving. And giving back by volunteering for something is huge. Okay. And especially if you can make it align with your love language or align with a passion, something that you feel really, really amazing about. And just so you know, you can do this at home. So I struggle with a little bit of social anxiety. I also struggle with some executive function issues. And so I always find it to be challenging to like show up somewhere at a certain time and do a specific thing with other people. Okay. I may or may not be able to do that. I also have seasonal affective disorder. So sometimes in the winter, I find it hard to go places, okay, and to people, especially around the holidays because there's high peopling demand. All right. And so a lot of times I tend to volunteer to do things that I can do at home. I'm pretty crafty. So over the years, I've done things like, make blankets for an animal shelter or make care packages for children or things like that. So I've done very collecting things so that I can donate them, so that I can make, whatever kinds of care packages, for example, for unhoused people, things like that. So I really feel like there's such a broad variety of things to do. And even if the thing that you're doing is something that you're doing from the comfort of your own home and you're not getting that social aspect, that's okay because it still feels good to give back. So to recap, here are my 8 tips. Reach out to your community and your friends and create holiday memories with them, whether they have children or not. Maybe consider a grown-up only event. That's always a fun thing to do. Be selective and be communicative about what you will and won't be attending and what your needs are related to events. Just because you don't have kids does not mean that it's acceptable to overlook your needs or your schedule. Number 3, decorate. Put out some kind of decoration. It doesn't have to be anything big, but something that reminds you that it is the holiday season. Number 4, find a tradition that you enjoy and engage in it. Do it. Bake cookies, make crafts, whatever it is that you happen to find fun. Number 5, movie marathon. I just love a good movie marathon. Enjoy holiday movies. Holiday movies will always help get you in the Christmas spirit. Alternatively, if you're not into movies, you could actually create an awesome Christmas playlist and just keep it playing in your house while you're doing everyday tasks. Number 6 is enjoy a special meal. Engage that sense, right? That sense of taste and smell. Make a meal that you love, that makes you feel cozy, and that makes you feel pampered, or enjoy one at a restaurant. Number 7 is get yourself a gift. Have something to open on Christmas morning. That matters. If you wake up alone or you wake up with your partner on Christmas morning, have something that you can open. Okay. My adult kids tend to wake up at my house so that they have some, and then they have something to open on Christmas morning. But if that's not an option for you, make sure that you create that Christmas morning memory for yourself. And number 9 is to volunteer, to engage with community service, to find something that you can do to give back this holiday season. And listen, don't be overwhelmed. If you pick even 2 or 3 of these things, I guarantee you, you will have a really, really magical and wonderful holiday season. You can always layer these in over the years. Pick the ones that resonate the most with you and do them. Just because you don't have kids doesn't mean you can't have a magical Christmas. That's the reality. Okay. Do not forget to subscribe. I am always here to help you grow to accomplish your goals, create healthy habits, and overcome your obstacles so that you can live your very best life. And part of that is having amazing and enjoyable holidays. You are absolutely amazing. And you deserve to live the life you've been dreaming of. I'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.